Bodhi Rook, firefighter. I'm one with the dork side and the dork side is with me. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh overview. Today, let's take a little look at some bread, some butter. Ooh. The Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Rogue One Bodhi Rook and the re-released upgraded photo reel Chirrut Îmwe. Okay, I'm not gonna go completely over Chirrut. We're just gonna look at the changes compared to the old one. If you want a full review on him and you feel like going back to 2017 and seeing Robo just kind of clunk through a review, check that out there. While I like upgrading my figures, especially when they look kind of terrible in the first place, I'm always down for some new figures. And we have been waiting for this for 4 years, somewhere in there. There's a lot of characters I still want from Rogue One, but this completes the main crew. Oh, before we get to the review though, and before anybody asks, there are more Rogue One reissues with updated photo reel, but Dorkside hasn't got those in stock yet. These are the two he got. These are the two I got. We'll take a look at those other ones later because you know I'm getting them. Looking at the package, it's what we're used to with the Black Series. There's Black, there's Series. Window showing everything in the package, plain gray background. I'm loving this turquoise color scheme they went with Rogue One. Different colors for different movies, but these, oh, that just pops. Choking hazards, small parts. You know the drill at this point, right? Don't insert any of this into your face hole. On the side, nice artwork of the two characters. Again, that turquoise color scheme spilling up into the black and white. On the back, those pictures again with small bios for each character. Warnings all in different languages. On the other side, just Star Wars logo, hint of turquoise, more window. On top, guess what? More window. On the bottom, legalese, barcode, thing. But let's get these open. And pouring over it and comparing and looking at both Chirruts, the original and the new, there's more different than I thought there would be. This chest box thing, whatever is hanging down from the chest harness, the red on the new one is darker than the old. And overall, it just feels cleaner, like they tightened up the paint on this button or whatever this is. Over here, it was just the whole section up there. Something about the dirtiness, the wear and tear on it. Also, the silver is a bit brighter and it pops more than the old one. Same for the silver on his walking stick. Comparing it to the old one, it has more of a darker gray color. And for some reason, that brighter silver just helps the details pop out. And then for the weapon thing that turns and goes around, I'll have to watch the movie again to see exactly what the two positions are. Again, with the silver, it is brighter, but then the goldish, brownish color is slightly darker, and again, that helps with the details. I don't know how well that comes across on camera, but in person, this one is slightly more muddy, the old one. The new one, sharper. You can see a lot more just little intricate detail to it. This one is a bit more vibrant. There's more contrast between the darks and the lights. But really, this is what we're here for. This was the reason that those of us who have a Chirrut already is getting the new Chirrut. Because the old one, oh buddy, this was a dark time for Black Series. Skin tone is about the same. The new one is shinier, so it looks different. We're seeing a lot of that with the current photo reel. The realism in the eyes, the eyebrows, actual lip color, this is a definite upgrade. And again, if you want to see the articulation, everything like that, there you go. But we are going to go completely over Bodhi Rook because I have had an empty spot on the shelf for him for a while. What the? What's going on here? And yeah, maybe I shouldn't be as excited as I am for a dude in a jumpsuit with a vest on with some goggles up on top. But damn it, Hasbro did such a good job with this. Plus, like I keep saying, a much needed character for the shelf. And I guess I've never put two and two together. I knew there were Imperial symbols on the shoulders, but the jumpsuit has all the same details as the TIE Fighter pilot. Or well, at least close, you know what I mean. There's the pocket for the code cylinders up here, the wrist calculators on the left side, plain pocket on the upper right, and then pockets down at the legs. But wasn't Bodhi a cargo pilot? Maybe that's why it's gray and he doesn't have as much uniform type things like the big gloves and the big boots. Now, I point all that out, but don't think I'm saying that this is reuse of this. There's nothing reused here. And there's such a simplicity to it, but they packed as much sculpt detail in as they could, even though, you know, it's just wrinkles and pockets and wrinkles. Well, got some nice details to the vest and such, but even that is pouch, 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 pocket, pocket, pouch. But I especially like this peeking out of the top pouch. I don't know what it is. I'm just glad it got its own paint app. There's a better look at the silvery paint on the Imperial cog on the shoulders there. Then there's some silver to that buckle. But that just makes me want a little bit more paint on other things, you know? All these buckles and rings hanging down, those should have been silver too. Some more nice sculpted detail to the back of the vest, which I guess is just a bunch of straps crossing over themselves. That's all on top of a jumpsuit that is essentially cast in gray. No shading, no nothing on top of that. So you have to depend mostly on light to see the details there. And your eyes. I don't know where I'm going with this. What is it? In order to see, you must open your eyes. But speaking of that, oh, look. It's Bodhi Rook. Nice photo reel to the eyes, the eyebrows. The realism upped a little bit because of the technique. Just, I'm kind of glad they waited for Bodhi. He wouldn't have looked this good if we had gotten him 4 years ago. The goggles, very nice detail, especially how clear they are. You can see his skin and hairline underneath. This part is a separate piece, but it's glued on the sides, and then the strap itself is part of the sculpt of the head. So you can't take them off, but I'd probably leave them on all the time anyway, lest they be eaten by the carpet monster. On this side, it has some flesh poking through. Right here, it needs a bit more gray paint. It looks like it's rubbed them bald or something. It's supposed to look like this side, much nicer. The ponytail is a softer piece, gonna get out of the way when you're looking up, and it also has these little hair parts hanging down that are a bit stiffer, but again, they will get out of the way. The vest is a solid piece. If you want to take that off, you'll have to remove the arms, which is not a deal because of the butterfly joints. And it looks like it has all the detail up underneath. In the package, the neck was turned this way, and it was slightly awkward to get. You'd get the head straight, but the collar would be like this. I looked at the promo pictures. That strap right there is supposed to be off to the side like that. That works out much better. But speaking of articulation, there is a dumbbell joint up at the top of the neck with a ball at the bottom. You can look up. The bottom helps a lot. Wah, wah, wah. Butterfly joint at the shoulder goes back, goes forward. Peg outside of that rotates all the way around. Hinge up to 90. Hinge and swivel at the elbow. Single hinge, but watch this. Oh, because of how far down it's cut, which may look a little odd, but it's integrated into the sculpt itself fairly nicely. And then of course that rotates in and out. Swivel at the wrist, hinge up and down for a trigger finger hand. Then the other hand hinges in and out. Ball joint at the waist gets you some crunch, gets you some back, here, then that rotates. Ball at the hip comes forward, goes back, out, not bad. Swivel at the thigh, nicely hidden at the top of the pocket. Hinge and swivel at the knee, which I know is controversial, but I'm really coming around to how clean it looks from the front, especially when they integrate the sculpt as nicely as this, even in the bent position, but it will only get you this far. That rotates. There is a swivel at the top of the shoe going into the pants leg. Below that is a hinge that gets you to there, forward, and then front facing pin for rocker. For accessories, there's this standard blaster. I don't know if this is reuse. It looks pretty much the same as what we usually see with Rebel blasters. No paint, it's just cast in this color. Push and twist. Oh, look at that. Not bad. Then there is the cable reel backpack, which a very nice addition. I am never going to gripe about extra accessories, but I may not use this on the shelf. It's not because of lack of detail. Very nice sculpting all over. Could use some wear, some dirtiness here and there, but it still works. Cast in this brown color for the most part. Then there's this dark silvery gray color for the components. And this, the plug, or, well, the fire hose. That is on a string that goes around a reel inside of this. That extends out to about that far. It's about 16 inches. Getting it reeled back in, it's not a pain in the ass, but it's inconvenient. How about that? That's a good word. They didn't want to put a twist or some kind of grip on the outside of it because that wouldn't be accurate, and I can kind of respect that. What they want you to do is pull the cover off, and there is a reel underneath that is spooled on top of this. And even the inside reel, if you have the cable all the way out, has more cable sculpted on. So if you're looking down through these windows, it still looks like there's some cable to go. But then this is threaded through this slot on the cover, and it doesn't come all the way out. It's just too wide. So what I've done a couple times, if you've ever ran a weed eater, you just roll this up, get to this part, and you try to get it in without losing all the thread that you just rolled up. Then you see the 3 slots. There's 1, 2, 3 with corresponding sculpted parts on the backpack. And then this slot on bottom goes on that peg right there. Otherwise, this does not go together. If you're off that, you'll be fighting it. Why won't you go together? Oh, because I got the string in the way. So what I've been doing is just getting in there and taking something and rolling it up. Again, I'm not going to use this a lot, but if I do, that hose is going to stay right there. I do like the positioning to where it looks like it's mounted right here. So it stays out of the way when you actually have it on the figure. And to do that, it's like any other backpack we see in any other toy line. You just, well, this is also how backpacks work in real life. It looks pretty good for what it is. You know what I mean? It's not cloth interacting with cloth, with muscle and skin and such. It's plastic. It's going to lay like it does. And it does add some back weight. If you want it straight up and down, it's going to drag back, to lean forward just slightly. But wouldn't that be how it is in real life? That's probably heavy as hell, right? He's carrying it around on his back. He would be hunched forward slightly. Bodhi stands at about 5 3/4 inches tall, which seems about right, because he fits right in with other Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Rogue One figures. This is the re-release photo real Chirrut, but then I got custom heads off eBay for the rest of them. So at the end of the day, a nice upgrade and much needed character. And it's not just the fact that it's a much needed character, it's that Hasbro did such a nice job on what could have been a basic figure. There's some extra mile to him. The backpack, which has an action feature, a play feature, or whatever, but it's nicely done, even though it can be slightly frustrating to try to get it all together. Perfect World goggles would have been a separate piece, but then it would sit on top, and you'd have the thick straps. Because they're so small, they'd have to be bigger in order to stretch and get over. I like that it looks good more than a functional thing. For Chirrut, it's a definite upgrade. But if you're happy with the old one, or you're, they just come along and sell us the same figure again, you don't have to get this. It was just at the time they didn't have this technology. And now that they do, I like that they're going back and doing this, because you put all those figures together, especially all the new ones with some of the old ones, and the old ones are kind of a sore thumb. And this also works for people who weren't collecting 4 years ago. They can go back, build their own Rogue One crew, and they don't have to go through the heartbreak of waiting 4 years for the final member. They can just get them all. If you are so inclined, grab you some Star Wars figures. If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. And this has nothing to do with the figure, but I have always wished that in Rogue One they had taken a chance and made Bodhi the crazy guy of the group. You know, he got scrambled there for a minute, but then he kind of just shook it off. He could have been the oddball from Kelly's Heroes, or the Murdoch from A-Team. You know, just that guy. They depend on him, but you never know what he's going to do.